Okay, here's a question. Like, have you ever found yourself recently using LLMs to do things that are actually pretty basic that you would typically have done yourself, like email subject lines or summaries, brainstorming synonyms, list of pros and cons, I don't know, or like basic explanations? So the idea here is that, AI is not just taking jobs anymore. It's about what AI is doing to our brains. And there's this notion of metacognitive laziness. It's making us metacognitively lazy. There's a little bit of research to back this up. So Wharton Business School, they published something pretty concerning. They track students using ChatGPT for math homework during like practice sessions with AI. And when they were using LLMs, they performed 48% better. But when they took those exams without AI, they scored 17% worse than students who had never used AI at all. Like, uh-oh. Then there was this MIT Media Lab piece that dropped a preprint that's even kind of like more troubling. So here they looked at 54 people who were linked to EEG machines while writing essays. The ChatGPT users, their brains showed the weakest connectivity patterns, the least neural engagements. Their brains were literally doing less work. And after 4 months, so the AI users, they consistently underperformed at neural, linguistic, and behavioral levels. They were basically slightly less smart. The lead researcher was so concerned, like when she released it before peer review, she said, I'm afraid in like 6 to 8 months, there's going to be some policymaker who's going to decide to, let's do GPT kindergarten. And she thinks that would be absolutely detrimental. And you already see some countries doing that at the moment, for better or for worse. I don't know. The jury's kind of out. Sorry for the cookies. As usual, it's a new session. So here's what's actually happening in your brain. So according to some legitimate research, there was this 2024 study from Germany who found that students using LLMs, same thing with us, even if we're not students, experience significantly lower cognitive load. Sounds good, right? I mean, optimal foraging theory. We're trying to get more with less effort. The problem is, I don't know how good that is, because despite the reduced mental effort, these students showed lower quality reasoning and argumentation compared to those using traditional search engines. And this is something called cognitive offloading. And it's been studied for years, but now it's just kind of getting worse. There's a major 2025 study with 666 participants, and it found a significant negative correlation between frequent AI tool usage and critical thinking abilities. So that's pretty scary, I would say. And then multiple researchers, it's this piece that I really like over here, are now warning about metacognitive laziness, your brain's ability to think about thinking. Metacognitive, thinking about thinking, it starts to atrophy. The Stanford AI Index 2024 confirmed something that we've all been thinking. I think it's over, let me see my list. Yeah, it's over here. And it's confirming what researchers feared. While AI makes individual tasks easier, it actually may be fundamentally changing how we engage with problems that we try to approach. There's this Microsoft research that found something similar. I think this was published like in middle of this year, April 2025. Higher confidence in AI is associated with less critical thinking. The more you trust it, the less you think. And so everyone's kind of like saying that AI enhances creativity. And I say this is a lot as well. But the Science Advances piece over here found something weird. Yes, individuals using AI wrote more creative stories, but the catch is that all of their stories started to look the same. We've got sort of homogeneous creativity. So as a species, it might be killing our creativity overall. And, the idea is that the diversity of ideas, they plummet, right? Everyone's creativity started to converge on similar patterns. Wharton found something pretty interesting as well. Let me just pull it up here. They found the same thing while brainstorming. 94% of ideas from ChatGPT users shared overlapping concepts. 9 different people independently named their toy invention Build a Breeze Castle. Okay, so 9 out of 10 people came up with the name Build a Breeze Castle. And as one researcher put it, I think it was in this piece over here, The true value of brainstorming stems from the diversity of ideas rather than multiple voices repeating similar thoughts. Makes sense, right? Creativity is like linking separate nodes in a network. So, the education piece is particularly damning. Multiple studies have documented that students using AI primarily for homework completion rather than learning, pretty scary results. There was this meta-analysis of 51. So meta-analysis, when you look at multiple studies, looking at 51 studies done in 2025, found no. So the meta-analysis was done in 2025. It's this one from Nature over here, and it found that while ChatGPT has a large positive impact on improving learning performance, it only has a moderately positive impact on actual learning perception and higher order thinking. So a lot of these studies, they're showing the same pattern, right? Immediate performance goes up, short term, actual learning goes down, and then long-term ROI is down. And we have this cognitive bias for short-term rewards. So long-term capabilities are actually degrading. There was a really nice piece, a controlled study in Ghana, found that students using ChatGPT showed changes in critical, reflective, and creative thinking, not all of them positive. And then the pattern is like pretty consistent. AI makes you feel smarter. Let me just do the cookies rule here. So it makes you feel smarter while potentially actually making you dumber. It's kind of like taking, I don't know, the performance enhancing drugs. Great on the short to medium term, very bad on the long term. And developing brains, they're at the highest risk, right? So developing brains are at the highest risk. From the Wharton study, what was pretty clear is that if we use it sort of lazily and completely trust the machine learning model, then that's when we could be the most in trouble. And then Stanford and MIT's earlier productivity study found that AI helped workers complete tasks 14% faster. So we're moving away from students and looking at workers, but the benefits were largest for novice workers. So it's leveling the playing field. Experts saw minimal improvement. Why? Because the experts already knew how to think through problems. And then Nature also published some warnings about artificial intelligence and illusions of understanding in scientific research. So how do we get through this, right? That's a little bit of the fear. What are some of the solutions over here? Now, the good news is that researchers say that the damage isn't permanent and it's reversible if you start acting soon. Based on actual cognitive science research, here's what seems to work. So they came up with this approach called the Centaur method. And the idea here is that, I'm not allowed to show this because it's behind a paywall. You need to design the algorithm yourself. Let AI write the boilerplate. Create the strategy yourself. Let AI format the presentation. Solve the problem yourself. Use AI to double check your work. Don't use AI to design the thinking algorithm, the mental model, the creativity. Don't use AI to build the strategy. Build the strategy yourself. Build the algorithm yourself. Solve the problem yourself and use it as a double checker of sorts. And this is called deliberate difficulty practice. And these MIT researchers, they emphasize thinking with AI versus, MIT researchers, I'm also suggesting it, thinking with AI versus letting AI think for you. So a few things before using AI, I would say struggle with the problem first. Try to struggle with the problem. You know how social media removed boredom? It seems like Gen AI is removing struggle. Struggle yourself with the problem for 20, 30 minutes. And then write your expected answer first. After AI responds, identify 3 things it might be wrong about. There was this piece called Protecting Human Cognition in the Age of AI, and some of these tips are in this one over here. Then there's another really nice protocol. It's called the verification protocol. So from research on AI and metacognition and hallucinations, they're saying basically never accept AI output without verification, number 1. Always check primary sources, number 2, and then test the edge cases yourself. That was the suggestion number 3. And like academic research on metacognitive sensitivities, it suggests that maintaining human oversight is critical. Human in the loop, human in the loop. We keep on repeating this. There needs to be a human in the loop, which bodes the question, what are we doing with entry-level collaborators, for example? So there's a little bit of a risk there. Now, here's what we know for certain. Tech companies, they measure like cognitive offload rate as a success metric. So your dependency on these model, it's their business model. And this is a super uncomfortable truth. The research is pretty clear. The more we rely on AI for thinking tasks, the less our brains engage in neural processes that keep us sharp. Students using AI for homework are literally training their brains not to think. Workers using AI for problem solving are losing the ability to solve problems. And a lot of these LLMs, their business model is to make you dependent on this, on delegating this cognitive overload. So, long story short, I would say you have two choices overall. Keep using AI as a cognitive crutch and maybe watch your actual thinking abilities decline. The research proves this is happening. Or keep using AI, strategically as a tool that amplifies your thinking rather than replacing it. Your brain is still your only real competitive advantage. So the question isn't whether you should keep using AI, it's whether you'll maintain the ability to think without it, actually. And the research is pretty real. The decline apparently is like really measurable, but it's not irreversible, yet. That's it.